a job that most of my job was using my brain was not as intellectually satisfying as being a baker. You're having to think about what other people want you to think about all the time. And, every job is fairly rote. I mean, there's rote stuff. But the rote stuff in a desk job that you need to think about, you're using your brain to think about the rote stuff. Whereas, when I'm baking and I'm doing the rote stuff, my brain is free to do what it wants. I've always cooked and baked. My grandpa was an amazing pie baker, actually. He made great apple pie. I worked a lot when I was in college, and I worked at this great little restaurant and bakery, and I did that more than school for the most part. I actually loved school, but I was better at baking. And I just kept doing it because I got a degree in English. So I just kept being a baker, because what else are you going to do with a BA in English? Probably the big pivotal moment was I had this job at this crazy conference center. It was huge. And the chef who hired me was sort of this sadistic, awful person. I was completely unqualified for this job. And I think he hired me as a joke. And said, okay, we need Danish for brunch. This weekend, it was like 3 days away. Probably had to do enough for 200, 300 people. And I had never made Danish in my life. That was horrible. I did it. I cannot even tell you what that first couple of batches of Danish were like. I had a bakery in Connecticut many years ago. I had a bakery in Connecticut, and I sold it. I sold it when I was 6 months pregnant with my son. I just could not figure out how to make it work and have a child at the same time. We moved to California when David, my son, was about 2.5 years old, about 15 years ago, and it was right at the height of the boom. And I have always gotten jobs that I'm completely unqualified for, and I ended up doing facilities management for Ernst & Young. I had been really frustrated and burnt out at my job for a while. And my husband and I went on a 2-week camping trip. And I took that time, and literally over that 2 weeks, I think I wrote probably about 3 different business plans. Did a lot of number crunching and marketing plans, and I was writing up menus, all while we were living in our little 2-person tent on the edge of a lake in the snow. I wasn't thinking about work. I wasn't worried about my son. We had no cell phone service. It was the middle of nowhere. By the time I got home, I had pretty much honed it down to one main plan. So I start at about 6 in the morning or so and get everything going and make all the pies, and then get everything packaged and then delivered, done by about 2 or 3, depending on how bad traffic is. But then it's usually a matter of, then there's, somewhere along the way I've got to go grab my son at school, and eventually he'll have his driver's license, and I won't have to do that anymore. And then it's household. I mean, just household stuff, making dinner, homework, not a lot of cleaning, obviously. But then it just keeps going. And then I'm online a lot. I do all of my, my website, I do myself, so all of the updating for that. My entire marketing plan basically is Facebook. As I'm going along in the baking day, I'm taking pictures of everything as it's coming out of the oven and posting it to Facebook to get people to be like, oh, I want that. I would like it to get bigger. I need to figure out how to get bigger, and still enjoy it and not work 8 million hours. The first couple of months, most of the orders were all Niles people, and mostly people that I know. And as it's grown, it's gotten bigger in Niles. It's hard to scale up and still be an artisanal baker. I really do care very much about my ingredients and being local and being as organic as I can. And honestly, being local is of the most importance. I have been renting this terrific kitchen with these folks at Gourmet Cookery in Pleasanton. But we just lost the lease, actually. We knew that it might be coming, so I've been trying to figure out what the next step is going to be. There's a couple of options that will work. I've got about a month to figure it out, so I know that we'll at least keep going without it. Without any visible bumps on the outside. I may have to like jump through a whole lot of hoops and work strange hours for a while, which is fine for a while. When you love what you're doing, it just makes you a happier person. I mean, it sounds very hokey, but really it's quite that simple. And I think I can love a lot of things. People have said to me, oh, you know, this is your gift. This is your niche. This is your thing that you do. You know, honestly, there's a lot of things I do.